And welcome to NAFDAC and Your Health, that program where you get to know about the relentless efforts of NAFDAC to ensure that only wholesome food products, standard and quality drugs, and other regulated products under the agency's control are made available to the Nigerian public. My name is Amanda Ugo. On this edition of NAFDAC and Your Health, we start by discussing the importance of food, the reasons NAFDAC places premium on food, and the basic things to pay attention to in ensuring food safety. And then we'll move on to feature the recent enforcement activities carried out in the food and water production sector within the Abuja metropolis and the efforts of NAFDAC to prevent the sale of unwholesome food and water to the public. Food is essential to life. The quality of food consumed determines the quality of life and, by extension, the quality of productivity of man. All these sum up together to determine the health of the nation, which is, of course, the bane of NAFDAC's constitutional mandate. NAFDAC, however, in its concerted move to continually safeguard the health of the Nigerian people, takes the issue of food safety very seriously. This is why the agency guards and fights against every factor that can alter the safety of food. Among topical issues of concern to NAFDAC as far as food safety is concerned are food contaminants, pesticide residues, and antimicrobial resistance.
I'm big on food because I take food as medicine. When you take medicine, it's once in a day. Some people don't even take medicine. Except once in 3 months when they are not always ill. But you eat food every day. You drink every day. And if what you take in every day is not healthy, then you will have a cumulative effect of the outcomes of such contaminants. For example, mold. Aside from the fact that some people are very reactive to mold in the environment, but if you take in food that has mold, a lot of granules sold by the roadside that have not been sold for more, within 2 days or 3 days, sometimes they can grow mold. And if somebody takes that in every day, you take in aflatoxin, mycotoxin, molds, they can cause cancer. Pesticide residue. When a pesticide is sprayed on vegetable or on vegetation or whatever, there should be time for that pesticide to wear off. You cannot harvest it quickly. When you give medicine to animals, antibiotics for example, you cannot sacrifice the animals immediately. If not, you will be taking the antibiotics in the animal. And if it is the pattern, then you start taking antibiotics in every day through meat. Before you know it, your body will start getting comfortable with low levels of that antibiotic. When you are ill, the protein around the bacteria will have gotten used to low levels. So when you now get very ill and you take medicine, they build that coat around themselves. That's antimicrobial resistance. Many people die all over the world. Unfortunately, we don't even have a record in Nigeria of it. That is why One Health is the approach that NAFDAC is taking now. Meaning, it's not just about drug. It is not just about food. It is about food and drug combined. Because through food, you are taking drug and it's affecting health. So we cannot separate the two in terms of the outcomes of either. Because we take food daily throughout life. That is why I put a lot of emphasis on food. When I was younger, I wasn't that concerned too much about salt, although I don't like anything too salty. In fact, when I was younger, I don't like anything sugar too much because it was affecting me. I was always having very heavy menstrual period, or very tough menstrual period. And the doctor says, reduce your sugar. So we have to eat or have this food that we eat with little or no salt or very little sugar. Sugar is one of the problems in the world. There's nothing wrong with sugar. It is making sure you don't take it too much. Salt, there's nothing wrong. It is making sure you don't take it too much. Because when you take in sugar, it also attracts water from the body. And before you know it, you may be building pressure in your blood vessels. Because the more water that is being attracted to the sugar, to the salt, the more pressure is being built. It's like you are getting too much fluid going through a pipe. So there are some things, some ailments that we can avoid or we can reduce the effect of them. The same thing with sugar. Sugar can make people hyperactive, can make children hyperactive. And if for children, they can easily burn it. Even for children, you have to reduce. For example, the baby food and whatnot. What is the level of sugar in them? Fructose. That is part of why I take food as medicine. I see food as medicine. Because they can make me better on the short run or on the long run.
You have been watching NAFDAC and Your Health. The program continues after the break.
As part of NAFDAC concerted effort to prevent incessant food poisoning and to safeguard the health of the nation, the agency wishes to advise the general public to take the following precautionary measures in food handling. Chemicals are not food, so do not taste with your tongue. It is dangerous to health and it can kill. It is dangerous to cook your meat with paracetamol or any drug. It can damage your liver, kidneys, or other organs. Do not ripen your fruits with calcium carbide. It can cause cancer or damage the kidneys or liver. It is dangerous to use sniper to keep insects and other flies away from any food products. Cooking does not remove sniper. Do not consume any mixture or herbal preparation that do not have NAFDAC number. It could be deadly. Too much monosodium glutamate food seasoning that comes as cube or in sachet can be dangerous to your health. Do not add any chemical to food or drink to make it sour or improve taste. Safe food. Everyone's business. NAFDAC. Safeguarding the health of the nation.
Welcome back. You are still watching NAFDAC and Your Health. The passion of Professor Mojisola Adeyeye, the Director General of NAFDAC for Food Safety, is the reason she consistently gives directives to all the agencies' formations across the country that will ensure that activities that threaten the safety of food made available for public consumption are nipped in the bud. And of course, she follows these directives with consistent monitoring. It was in acting on the directives, which of course was fueled by intelligence gathering, that the newly redeployed director of NAFDAC in the FCT on a tip-off went with his team of enforcement officers and security operatives attached to NAFDAC to a popular eatery known as The Place in the FCT to assess the level of compliance to good manufacturing practice and adherence to food safety guidelines, and the discovery was indeed shocking.
You can see these eggs for public consumption are supposed to be stored at minimum 4 degrees centigrade. This place is at room temperature, which is usually 27 degrees centigrade. So eggs for commercial consumption are not supposed to be stored at 27 degrees centigrade, but minimum 4 degrees centigrade. So beginning down, you come. This is the cold room, which ought not to be inside a dry stock. These are the ingredients that they are using for the processing. If you look closely, you can see rat droppings, mice droppings here. Come closer, you see the rat droppings, the mice droppings here. You can see rodents, you can see signs of rodents eating up what is used for production. You can see them down, up. So the remnants of what rodents feeds are what we are using here. You can see. You can see how bad these are.
All eating up milk and everything.
And you can see the flies making rounds. These are pesticides, no pests, they are pesticides. And behind you are vegetable oil. These are creams used for production. They are sort side by side food items. Look, I showed it to her. Exactly. You can see them. And these are vegetable oil. And these are what do you call it? Sodium monoglutamate. Soya sauce. You understand? You can see. So, and then in addition to that, this place also doubles as you can see their shoes and the remnants of the food they eat in a dry store. These are air fresheners in a dry store where they're supposed to keep food, raw materials of food.
The NAFDAC enforcement team in the FCT office of the agency also visited Doric Noble Group Limited, makers of Adifine table water, to meet a production standard that falls short of NAFDAC stipulated GMP and production guidelines in great measure.
We have seen that there's a toilet which opens directly into the production room. A filthy toilet, for that matter, opens directly into the production room. Within this production room again, we are seeing their packaging materials stacked in a corner. The floor of the production room is a huge mess. There is something that seems like a cloakroom which is over there, which is a huge mess on its own. Not a good sight to behold. Then, within the production area itself, you can see the water produced for human beings, you and I, to drink, stacked directly on the dirty floor. No pallets, no such thing. If you look at that corner, you can see the equipment which they used to produce. See the packaging material all on the floor, just straight on the floor. This place, in its entirety, cannot meet good manufacturing practice requirements. It's not possible. Now, if you look at a corner over there, let's see over there, you can see that there's a family living inside the production area. You can see the children. You can see that there's a family living inside here. 3 children right within the cloak, within this premises, living inside just a little bit of the production room.
They turned the packaging material store.
The packaging material store has been turned into a living room, and this is where they produce water
And
for people to drink.
The worst of it all is that there is no treatment plants.
Yes,
This water is just being filled and saturated, just without passing it through any treatment modules.
Directly.
You can see that the filters, they are all detached. There is no UV lights to sterilize the water. So this is what they are just, printing water that is untreated and bringing it out for the public to consume. And this is against the agency's guidelines. In the first place, they are not supposed to be here. They make payment in a wrong location, which is against the agency's guideline of locating factory in a public place where you will not have control. And it has led to all this.
It was also a similar situation at Anamaka Universal Business Services, Nigeria.
Where we're standing, if you look around, see what we have here now. This is Anamaka Universal Business Services Nigeria, makers of Makana table water. Looking at this place, it's the same issue as the other facility. You can see clothes hung here, and you can see water all over the place. See their treatment plant here. This place in no way meets the good manufacturing practice standards required of water producers. And as a matter of fact, they had all been asked to move out of these places before this time. Their licenses have expired. They wish to renew here, but they cannot because they have been given, the moratorium given to them has expired. And so we are here today. You can see they are locked, but we are also going to place our own hold label and seal the place formally and invite them to the office so that we can know the way forward.
The team was also at a supposed warehouse, which turned out to be a supermarket where expired and unregistered products were stored in large quantities.
We got a complaint that there are some illegal activities being carried out in this place. It's a warehouse where we have food items and other items, and as an agency responsible to take care of public health, we have to respond immediately to visit to see what exactly is happening in this location. And when we came, to our greatest surprise, we found some expired items and also some unregistered products, which we are doing due diligence. We first take inventory of them, move them to NAFDAC office, and launch out further investigation to see how first they were imported into the country and how they are left to be expired, and without returning them to NAFDAC, or willingly submitting it to NAFDAC for destruction. We'll hear from the company and really know what exactly they have left the items here, because usually if you are operating and you're doing a legitimate business and the items expire, you have to look for the appropriate organization or agency, like in this case now NAFDAC, and submit those items for destruction. So we expected that these items should have been submitted to NAFDAC long ago for destruction. With the representative of the company said that some of those items, they expire in their hands, that they are operators of supermarkets, and those products expire in their hand, and they are waiting to return it to the suppliers. But we told them, if there is any issue like that, the first point of call should be NAFDAC. Okay, like now that we've just intercepted, we came in and we saw this. You can no longer explain to us that you want to return it somewhere, because the right thing should be done first. If you are legitimately operating, which we welcome everybody to operate in Nigeria, whether you are a citizen or you're a foreign citizen, but the matter there is, if there are issues, you have to report to the appropriate authority. If they have written to NAFDAC and say they have expired items, but for insurance issues, they want to get to the people, that would be another thing. So, but we will launch investigation into this and see what happens next.
On the discovery that a supposed warehouse was found to be a supermarket, Mr. Musa Godia has this to say.
Well, we're going to launch investigation into that. There are other agencies of the government that are responsible for registration of premises. For NAFDAC, we regulate product, and it's the regulated product that we see in these premises that is most important. But as part of the investigation, we will look into also the existence of the company and the things that are doing right and wrong. From there, we will take further action.
Mr. Kenneth Azikiwe, the NAFDAC director in the FCT, under whose control all these activities were carried out, explains the reasons behind the action on the production factories.
The activity was directed by the Director General of NAFDAC, who has asked us in the FCT here to ensure that all facilities that are manufacturing regulated products, including packaged water, food, medical devices, and other regulated products, are done under best practices. And we observe here that those water facilities in those areas were not adhering to good manufacturing practice. From our records here in the FCT, those water manufacturing facilities ought not to be there in the first place. And that is why you observe that we have to seal it up. From the records I met on ground here, those companies have been asked to vacate that place about 2 years ago. And the company continue to produce water in those places. So upon resumption, I felt that in line with the directive of the DG, such facilities must not exist anywhere in Nigeria, and that was why we had to go there and seal it up. And from what you observed there, you can see the unhygienic nature of what they were doing. And that was how we have to destroy those waters. You can see even the basic things of producing water, like the sand bed, the carbon bed, were not working. So, which means that it's a clear departure from what we call our GMP, that is good manufacturing practice. And without a good manufacturing practice in place in any manufacturing facility, the outcome of that process is a product that is not of good quality and that should not be consumed.
The NAFDAC FCT director also sees the opportunity to pass an important message to manufacturers of NAFDAC regulated products within the FCT.
We are trying to use that as a message to all manufacturers producing products in the FCT that they should be guided by the good manufacturing practice on which foundation NAFDAC registration numbers were issued to them and their facility accredited. Any deviation from that, the full weight of the law will be brought up against them. So, and I want this to be to send a clear message to all manufacturers of packaged water in the Federal Capital Territory that we will not condone practices that endanger the health of the nation. We will continue. This is the beginning. There are many to come, and we are going to move fast, swiftly and quickly to make sure that these practices and acts are checked and that facilities that are not licensed to produce certain categories of product do not engage in that. And for that reason, we are going to be having regular routine surveillance and monitoring within the FCT to ensure that there is no deviation from what the manufacturers were originally permitted to produce.
This is where we draw the curtains on this edition of the program. We shall be back again, same time, same station next week with another detailed package. If you have any information that could lead to nipping the activities of peddlers of unwholesome food products, drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment in the bud, please do not hesitate to reach out to NAFDAC.
You can reach NAFDAC via toll-free numbers. For inquiries, call 0700 162 3322. For complaints, call 0800 162 3322. You may also email NAFDAC at nafdac.gov.ng. If you have complaints about any form of misconduct, you can reach the Reforms Unit via email reforms@nafdac.gov.ng or call the Reforms hotlines on 0909 763 0506 or 0909 763 0507. NAFDAC, customer focused, agency minded.
Remember that it is illegal to produce, import, distribute, market, advertise, or sell unwholesome food products, fake drugs, cosmetics, and medical equipment. These acts pose great threats to the health of Nigerians. Till we meet again next week, stay safe.